People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. You thought I was finished by now. You've probably seen hella videos uploaded on my YouTube channel, and I'm back again on that. People deluded, I'm back again. As usual, to my regular supporters, appreciative to you lot all over the world for tuning in. If you're new here, hit the subscription button. Again, as you lot are watching this on YouTube, please smash the like button. We're aggressively moving closer and closer to 60K, and the journey before the end of the year is 70,000. So yeah, do that for me, people. Make sure your brains are intact and the creative juices are flowing, because I want to know you lot's opinions on everything we discuss. Now, if I share my screen with you lot, Ethan Nwaneri has signed his first pro deal, something we expected to happen. He's just recently turned 17 years of age, and boy, you know, what were you lot doing at 17? What was I doing? I was trying to get my license, trying to get something. You get me? There's women listening, so we're not going to do too much. But big him up, man. We all know he's our youngest debutant in history, people. In fact, he's the youngest Premier League debutant in history at 15 years and 181 days. Now, you'd imagine within the next 18 months, as he turns 18, we commit him to a new deal. As you know, when you're 17, you can sign a max of 3 years. Now, if he keeps up his trajectory when he turns 18, you'd imagine Arsenal want to tie him to a longer-term deal. Not to be bad, man, but if I was his agent, a bit like what you've seen with Bukayo Saka up until this point, I would be trying to sign 2 with an option of a 3rd or 3-year deals, because you're always 18 months away from leveraging a new contract and ultimately making this money. So big him up. He's an England youth international. Obviously, Mertesacker, Arteta, Jack Wilshere, and all us Arsenal fans, and most importantly, God and his family are ecstatic, man. Very happy for the lad, really and truly, if I'm honest. He said it's his dream come true, and you know, what better birthday presents could you have? Because it's been announced today, but it's clearly been dotted and crossed a long time ago. But for what it's worth, our young man, who for me in the short term could play as a winger, for me he's a 10 or an 8. I see him as and I'm being very careful of my wording. For me, he mimics Phil Foden. I'm not comparing them. I just think you could be a bit of a Phil Foden. Like, Arteta is your Pep Guardiola, you're his Phil Foden. I think that's the sort of angle I want to see from him. I've done a video kind of focusing on Ethan, so I don't really want to go over the same talking points. Make sure your notification bells are on, because that will be out with you lot shortly, or it might be out already by the time of this video coming out. I'm waiting on my graphics designer to pattern the thumbnail for this vid. I'm delighted to have finally got to this stage after all the hard work over so many years. It's a proud moment for me and my family to finally be here, so I'm happy and ready to keep working. Best sentence there, keep working, because many people, I know if Arsenal gave me a pro deal, boy, I might be a bit complacent, but the job's not done. It was a dream to get to this stage. I always thought about this when this day would come, and I've been looking forward to it. So I'm happy it's finally here. I didn't have to think about it. This is my family, and it feels like home. Everyone's like a family together, and they care about everyone. It feels so special. All the people around me have helped me get better as a person, and definitely helped me develop as a player on the pitch. The opportunities from Mikel, all the under 21 coaches, under 18 coaches, they've all helped me develop, so I'm grateful for them. Big him up. And he's also said, I want to keep pushing towards the first team, gain as much experience as I can from the players in the first team, and score as many goals as I can in whatever game I'm playing in, and just keep pushing. I'm going to keep working and do my best when I get opportunities given. So for all his talent, you can see the man's got drive, which talent gets you to a certain point. Talent gets you in the room. Talent gets you in the room. Your consistency, your drive, your want to get better keeps you in the room. And as you can see, as we get better and better as a football club, it's sink or swim, essentially. Now, David Ornstein has been speaking in relation to Arsenal on The Athletic, people, and he's spoken about a couple of things. Somebody called Dylan has asked him, I guess this is like a Q&A sort of thing, is there a preferred striker Arsenal want to sign in the summer? As with most clubs and positions on the pitch, there will be varying preferences internally, and Arsenal need to come to a firm consensus before proceeding. I'm not aware of this happening yet, but that's fairly normal at this stage. Declan Rice was an exception, as he was the unanimous top choice and main target. There'll be so many factors and variables involved in the decision. As previously reported and widely documented, Benjamin Sesko, my guy, Victor Goyakares, I like him a lot, or Gyökeres, are admired, as with Ivan Ferguson, but he's not really firing the goals in, and as you'd imagine, he'd be expensive. But the price Brighton would want and the season he has had perhaps makes him less likely at the moment. I don't see it being an Osimhen or Ivan Toney. There'll be other options too. I've seen Isak linked with Arsenal, and Arsenal went from in the past, but I don't have any information on that at this point. Don't forget, Arsenal have other positions to consider as well. A midfielder back up to the wide attackers, possibly a left back, which is interesting with Timber coming back, Tomiyasu signing a new deal, Zinchenko having 2 years left on his deal and being a key player under Mikel Arteta. And I think we all imagine that, Kyrgios's bread and butter will be as a centre half, but he's found a home for himself at left back. So that would be interesting. Much will be determined by finances and therefore what they manage to raise through departures. And you'd imagine, I look at someone like Mika Beref, who got a year left on his deal, doing quite well over at Studgrass. You could get some money. Would love Charlie Patino to get an opportunity here, but at 21, I believe, or 20, turning 21, they might say, let's make some money on that. Obviously, the Aaron Ramsdales, the Smith Rowes, the Reece Nelsons, the Eddie Nketiahs, potentially Lokonga, Tierney, all of these guys, these lot are going to have speculation over their futures. So we'll have to see. And we all know we probably need a backup keeper when Aaron Ramsdale leaves. I think we can move into that, as he stated here, as well, people. So yeah, and then he's went on to talk about Liverpool. We're not going to get on that. He has spoken about Onana. Apparently, I'm sure there's some appreciation for Onana at Arsenal and elsewhere, but I'm not sure he fits their profile or price bracket. In the number 6 role, we know Arteta likes Martin Zubimendi. If it's a number 8 they go for, there'll be multiple options as well. I don't really see this one happening. Okay, has he said anything else? Ain't no one care about what he has to say about Spurs. Disrespectfully, really, but respectfully to Ornstein. Fabrizio Romano has said there'll be a race for Mika Beref this summer, for sure. Many clubs are interested in the young Arsenal striker, but Arsenal have been clear on their position. No decision will be made now. Internal talks about him will follow later this year. So on this one, interest is there and will likely grow in the next weeks, but it's not something serious yet. And you can't rule out giving him a new deal, protecting his resale value, loaning him out again, hoping that he does this again and maybe even getting more money. But the club, as I just said, might say, you know what, year left on his deal, put himself in the shop window. Not the same, but similar to Balogun when he went to Reims in France. Let's make our money, because again, I would love every Haylander or academy grad to break through at Arsenal. But at this moment in time, Eddie Nketiah is in front of him. Whatever you have to say about Eddie, Kai Havertz plays up front at times. So does Trossard. You've got Gabriel Jesus, and you'd imagine Arsenal, whether we sign a midfielder, a winger, a defender, a goalie, a striker, or another attacker, whether that's a multifunctional guy, arrives at the club. And whether you're a striker, a winger, or whatever, indirectly, there's only so many of you that can start and so many of you that could be on the bench. So we'd have to see, man, really and truly. Speaking of strikers, Gabriel Jesus is confident he can play a major role for Arsenal in their season running. He's missed 16 games in all comps so far this season due to knee problems and a hamstring issue. And it's crazy that, since August, we've been dealing with injuries, but I'd like all these players to get over it, but a number of our key players don't really have that durability you would like for a team that's aspiring to win major honors. Gabriel Jesus, since he's joined us, for all his talent, has picked up a lot of knocks. Tomiyasu is someone that, when you think of his name, and be honest, smash the like button if you did, you think injuries. Thomas Partey, the same. Zinchenko picks up 1-2 knocks. A lot of our players, some more than others, but some players pick up knocks, essentially, and we need to move away from that. His last Premier League start was on January the 30th. Since then, he's only played 53 minutes, people, which is crazy. He wasn't called up to Brazil, rightly so, for the latest games. Apparently, the 26-year-old is feeling much better and is preparing his body to feature heavily in both the Prem and Champions League. Hopefully, he can feature against City. Apparently, he's looking sharp in training sessions, and coaches are encouraged by his attitude, physicality, and finishing. I mean, I want to see the finishing on the football field, but the attitude, the physicality, and just conducting yourself in the right way, that's never been in question with Gabriel Jesus. And even more so because, whether you're Tomiyasu, Partey, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, all the players that are coming back from injury, Arteta is now getting into that scenario where he needs to be cute and clever with rotation, because we've got City on Sunday, Luton are fighting for their lives. We've got them midweek, then we've got Brighton away, then the following week after next week, the Champions League comes back into it. We've got North London derbies, we've got to play Una Emirates, sandwiched in between the Champions League, we've got to play Una Emirates, Aston Villa, you've got to go Old Trafford. While the squad picks itself, we are getting to that scenario where Arteta has to be cute and clever with what he's doing. So there will be opportunities, but all of these players, you know, once upon a time, our key players being out, you would have walked straight back in the team, regardless of how we're doing now. You can't really say that, essentially. So yeah, big up Gabriel Jesus. Really, this season he's only got 4 goals in 19 games and 3 assists a match. Hasn't had that many shots, 17 on target. It's a shame, really. Allegedly, Arsenal have compiled, or better yet, Edu has compiled, almost butchered that, a 10-man striker shortlist, which it sounds great in terms of the ad, but that's what Edu and his coaching staff should be doing, having a variety of targets, different ages, different profiles. This one's more attainable. If we try go for this one and we can't, then we get this one. That's something that is with Arsenal and every other club, really and truly. So we keep it moving. You know, you look at when we first initially wanted Raya, we got Ramsdale. Apparently, we wanted Kunde. We obviously got Benjamin White. We've obviously not been able to get Mikhail Mudryk, Lissandro Martinez, Skolobek, Rafinha, Pedro Neto, Douglas Luiz, Caicedo. And we've done all right. But, I mean, are these guys actually on the list? Some, I believe, yes. Or is it a sense of Arsenal need a striker so you can link us with anyone? Smash the like button and let me know your thoughts. But for what it's worth, Ivan Toney, Alexander Isak, Gyökeres are all on the shortlist, people. If we scroll all the way down, obviously Ivan Toney is probably one of the more attainable strikers. You've got Ivan Toney, Isak, Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen, who a lot of us would like at the club, or Pender, who done well in France before joining Leipzig. He joins his fellow teammate and fellow striker, Benjamin Sesko of Leipzig, Ivan Nilsson, who is linked with in January of Porto, Brian Brobley of Ajax, where I'm not really keen on him, Santiago Jimenez, I like the look of him, but I'm like, Victor Boniface, who's doing quite well at Leverkusen, but I don't know, really. Let me know your thoughts. Again, in no order, if I had to say, I'm on signing all of these strikers, but the guys I would really want, if you ask me in no order, I would love Gyökeres from what I see. I'd love Sesko. I think he's a blank canvas for Arteta to work with. Obviously, wait, let me start again. Wouldn't mind Isak at all. I mean, Isak, yeah, I wouldn't mind Isak. Wouldn't mind Sesko. I'm having Osimhen. I'm having Gyökeres. Worst comes to worst, I'm taking Toney, but I'd want to pause. I would want to explore the Seskos, the Osimhens, the Gyökeres, and well, Isak, we know we're not getting from Newcastle. I'd love to be wrong, but there's that. Out of these, look, Ivan Nilsson, I like the look of you, really. I'd prefer you to, you'd probably be last, you know, the Ajax lad, but what do I know? Then I would, you know, I'd say you're last, you're second last. Boniface, I like the look of you, but I just need to know for the injuries. So it's easy to link us with strikers, man. These are strikers that all could potentially help. To be fair to the Ajax lad, he has been decent this season, and he is in his early 20s, so you could grow with the team. And I know it's a different position, but we signed Timber, and he did all right. So there's that. I mean, I don't think anybody cares of what Gareth Southgate has to say about Benjamin White, but apparently he's kept the door open for Benjamin White to potentially return to England. And if Benjamin White don't care, he don't care. But from a selfish Arsenal fan point of view, I'd love to see Ramsdale, Saka, Rice, Benjamin White. I'd love Smith Rowe to be fit and get back in there. I want as many guys as possible in there, really. For what it's worth, Southgate said it's really for Ben now. Dec is obviously in a difficult situation. You're asking him about a teammate, and he's going to be careful with what he says. As I've said to you, the door is open for us. That's clearly different ahead of the Euros when you've got players that have played all the way through, but we have no idea of knowing who's going to be available in that area of the pitch. And okay, right back. Injuries is one thing, but all right, cool. In theory, a fit Trent Alexander-Arnold, in my opinion, is going to play ahead of you. A fit Reece James, which is easier said than done, he will play ahead of you. Kyle Walker, fair enough. Trippier, I'm not having that. I don't think Trippier is a better right back than Benjamin White. And then when you look at centre half, cool, Harry Maguire's typically done good for England, but centre half is weak. You got, you know, the one that you're like is a really good one is Stones, and you got Maguire. There's no reason why Benjamin White can't be utilised, but we all know it's not a footballing decision. So we'll have to see exactly what the case is. I respect the situation as Arsenal have contacted us. So in the end, I know the conversation I had with him last March. I felt I should have backed away from it a little bit, but I've always left the door open. I was keen to bring him in this camp, still trying to throw him down the river. The only thing I could say is it's Ben's life. Said Rice. Apparently, it's Ben's decision. We can't argue with him with what he wants to do. Of course, there's always going to be people writing stuff, having opinions on and what they think. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what he thinks. And at this moment, he obviously doesn't want to play for England. Boy, fair enough, really and truly. But yeah, nobody cares on that. As I said, Chris Wheatley has said Timber, he's very close. He's hoping to be involved in one of the upcoming matches. He could be named in the squad for Man City. It's always a possibility. He wasn't involved in the closed doors friendly against QPR with the international break that only included Thomas Partey and Tomiyasu. So you could be involved for City, but if he wasn't going to play in a friendly, is he really going to be fit to be on the bench for the City game? I say let's just take our time with him. I'd love to be proven wrong. Romano has spoken about Pedro Neto. He said, Neto is a player Arsenal like and have looked at before, but we have to wait for Wolves to decide the initial price tag to understand what Arsenal, Spurs and more clubs will decide to do. Fair enough. With that in mind, we've been linked with Bennacer, who could play as a left-sided centre midfielder. Technically was a teammate of Mikel Arteta, is a former Arsenal boy. I'm not as keen on him as I once was, but he's a very decent player. Apparently, according to reports in Italy, where the Algerian international / French youth international is concerned, AC Milan are keen to sell him for 50 million euros. He's made 15 appearances in all comps so far this season and has 1 assist. Apparently, he's got interest from the Saudi Pro League, but the most likely candidate is Arsenal. For what it's worth, he'd work quite well with Declan Rice, but I can't see it happening. That's for tomorrow because I'm doing a preview. Apparently, Nuno Tavares is wanted by Lazio, and I'm at the stage with Arsenal. It doesn't matter where Nuno Tavares goes, just get him off the books, really and truly, essentially. And I'm sure Arsenal would want to do that. He's drawing interest from Lazio. Could be a good move for him. We'll have to see exactly what's going on there, people. And again, is there legitimacy to this rumor? Because, you know, you've got his former manager, Tudor, who could want a player he's worked with before, but could it be creative journalism? I'm not sure. You're going to have to let me know your thoughts. Barcelona have been linked with Jorginho, people. Again, Jorginho's been linked with moves back to Italy. We're staying at Arsenal. And obviously, we're reading this Barcelona stuff. His agent did say, we will have to speak to Arsenal about the expiry of his contract in June, where there's rumors we want to give him a new deal. For now, it's our priority. Arsenal have a fantastic group, and we'll see if they need him for next season. So, while I'm not a fly on the walls where negotiations concerned, if Arsenal is the priority for now, at least, and we've signaled based on reports that we want to sign a new deal, we've got nothing to worry about. But a career is short. Having played for Chelsea, Arsenal won stuff with Italy as well. Hopefully win 1-2 things at Arsenal. Couldn't begrudge him if he wanted to move to Barcelona. It's a lovely city. It's probably the best city I've been to in Europe, actually, full stop. Not that I've been to many. And obviously Barcelona is not what Barcelona used to be, but it's still a historic, prestigious footballing establishment. So we'll have to see. Romano has also spoken and Ivan Toney and said, look for Chelsea. I think they'll go for someone a bit younger than Toney. So that's my feeling. I don't feel that Toney is going to be a top target for Chelsea, at least at this moment. But let's see what happens with financial fair play and all this stuff. But at this point, I think Chelsea will look at something different. For Arsenal, he could be one of the names. Also, in this case, I don't think he's their super priority target, but one of the names they have on the list. They also had his name in the list in January, but they decided not to invest big money in the January transfer window. I would add Man United today to the list of options for Toney because Man United will sign a striker. They want to have a new backup option. I think they will because I think they should get. I think that, you know, United's a big club regardless. I think you've got young Højlund who's finding his feet, and before his injury was doing well. Ivan Toney's an experienced individual. I think it makes sense there, if I'm honest with you. But they might have their own things in mind. We've gone over this stuff already before where Pedro Neto is concerned, people. But for what it's worth, Romano has said we've got an interest in Pedro Neto, and we are one of the clubs that are looking at young Nico Williams at Bilbao. But he said that is an open race, so we'll have to see exactly what happens. Have we missed anything else out? I don't think so, people. We've covered everything. So let me know your thoughts on Romano's comments, on Ornstein's comments, on Ethan's new deal, on Jorginho staying or moving to Barcelona, and anything else I haven't just mentioned. Do me a favor, people. Comment when this video is done. Smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on your notification bells. Most importantly, stay safe, stay blessed. We'll link up again soon. Peace.
There's always just that active red flag defenders. I think it's like